YouTube, what is going on, guys? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Now, before we start the stream, guys, all right, so yesterday, you guys know that unfortunately, we got caught up in a little bit of chop with the trade that we caught on ES, but that trade ended up playing out as soon as we got stopped out. So, as I got off stream, I told you guys that I was going to be live trading during the PM session with the premium, and we ended up making everything or most of it back. All right. So let me show you guys before I actually start the main stream. Here's what we ended up catching yesterday, right? So you guys know the ES trade we tried catching ES longs, didn't really work out. I mean, it was kind of like whatever. We got stopped out due to the chop, and look at how it ended up playing out, guys. We got stopped out right over here, and guys, it played out straight into our price target. Very unfortunate, but shortly after, I pretty much just ended up re-entering on NQ instead. And it ended up playing out for about 35 to 40 points, depending on the entry, just like this. So we made most of it back. And then last night, guys, some news came out with Nvidia, and I ended up taking NQ shorts, which is probably why you guys were wondering, like, yo, how the hell are you currently up $600 when the market barely even opened? Well, guys, last night at 10:17, I ended up putting out that I entered NQ shorts over at 20,108. And it ended up playing out for about 70 points, pretty much making everything back and more for that day. All right, guys. So if you guys are wondering, hey, what ended up happening last night that I missed or whatever on the stream, well, guys, in the premium, we pretty much ended up catching 2 extra trades that I didn't put out on stream yesterday. And we made everything back and more. So we are sitting super green on the week so far. All right, guys. But other than that, let's go ahead and get started with the stream. All right, guys, let's get this started. Let me see. All right, let me start up the live stream over here in the premium. Now, of course, we'll be being green for today. I'm not going to go too crazy on the charts, but I'm going to see what we can work with for sure. All right, guys. But yeah, hopefully you guys are having a beautiful morning. Let me go ahead and put out that I'm live on YouTube real quick. Let me see. There we go. And put out that I'm live over here. Give me one sec. All right, there you go. Anyways, okay. Let me start the live stream over here. Yo. What's good, guys? What's going on? What's going on? Hopefully you guys are having a good morning. All right. So, today's open is interesting, and interesting in a good way. In a good way, I want to say. So let me show you guys. Let me show you guys what I got to work with. All right. So, start off, for those tuning in and everything, if you guys are wondering how exactly I'm green on the day, well, you guys may or may not know that we caught a trade yesterday. All right, or last night. All right, for about 70 points on NQ. You guys know, apparently some Nvidia news came out. I'm pretty sure that they're allowed to sell to China again, something like that. Obviously, the tech sector went up like crazy, causing NQ to rip up about 200 points, maybe around there, something like that. It pumped up around here, and then I ended up just catching the downside because obviously I'm not really gonna chase the upside like that all that crazy, especially after we hit all time highs. So I just ended up deciding to go for shorts, and then it played out for about 70 points. So I'm currently up. I was up 625 on the day, but my runners got stopped out, so I pretty much ended up getting out at 594 on the day, or on the night, I guess you could say. But we're still on. We're still gonna be trying to catch some trades off open. About what, maybe an hour ago, yeah, like an hour ago or so, CPI came out, causing the markets to break above all-time highs yet again. So yesterday we had all-time highs set around this range. We broke it. We broke all-time highs once again this morning, and now we're getting more of a bearish reaction. Why exactly? Well, guys, obviously we don't have much of liquidity to work with to the upside. All right, so this is pretty normal. Now, looking at the 15-minute time frame, I'm going to start off with the 15-minute time frame. Because I believe we do have a beautiful setup that we can work with here, unless I'm wrong, and I am wrong. Okay, I was gonna say I thought we had a setup to work around here, but we don't. All right, now, during the London session around 3 in the morning, we created a beautiful London low over at 23,132. All right, and honestly, we could probably trade into this. I'm pretty sure we have something on the 5-minute time frame around here. Not the biggest gap in the world, but it definitely is there. So if anything, with us taking out all-time highs, which was at over here, right? Let me clean up this level real quick for you guys, real quick. All right. So we have the Asia high over here, also known as all-time highs that we created last night during the Asia session, right? We have the Asia slash all-time high DOL. Yeah, Asia high slash all-time high drawn liquidity. Um, so we took it out, right? Obviously, we worked our way up, and now we're obviously seeing a lot of selling pressure coming in, right? With this selling pressure coming in, what we can do is we can mark out a bearish valley gap right over here, because if you measure out the candle, it is definitely more than 40 points. If anything, it's like 60. Yeah, 61 points to be exact. All right. Now, the problem is here, guys, is that we're selling off quite a bit, and we're not too far from the Asia low. So there's a good chance that we're probably going to see this Asia low before we even retrace into the setup. So let's see. Let's see. Who knows? Maybe we get a very unexpected sell-off, and maybe we can get shorts into that. But in terms of another setup, I'm not really seeing anything crazy. But yeah, no, there's a sell-off. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now, if the selling remains aggressive, we could probably trade into the low that we created last night during the Asia. I'm surprised this is not an Asia low. It's this one instead, but we can also trade into this one, right? And the reason I'm saying that, guys, is because the downside opportunity is like endless, right? Remember, guys, we took out all-time highs. We no longer have any levels to the upside to really work with at all. All right. Let me see. Let me catch this. Let me see. I didn't get the trade. It was 4 in the morning, bro. You gotta lock in, bro. You gotta stay tuned in, bro. Let me see. The initial move was super fast last night, bro. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Anyways, hold on. Let me. All right, there you go. Anyways, what I was gonna say is, guys, we ended up taking out the all-time high liquidity to the upside, right? So the upside potential is pretty limited, right? I'm not really expecting us to go any higher for today. Maybe we do because the CPI news was pretty bullish, you know, somewhere around there. But I'm not really expecting anything all that crazy. All right, maybe I expect us to probably chop up here or just sit around this range or, you know, whatever. But what I do want to see, guys, is with the amount of selling that we have coming in right now, we could probably look to see if the selling can hold even lower, and we could probably look to trade it into 2339.75, right? We have this level and we have this level. These are the two main levels, which will be 2335.75. I mean, 2339.75 and 22996. These are the main two levels that I'm going to be looking to take for today. And like I said, I'm not interested in any upside whatsoever. I don't care how good the setup to the upside looks today. I just don't have any objectives to the upside. So there's literally nothing I could target, and there's no reason for me to want to trade to the upside. All right, so I'm gonna see what I can work with. All right, now keep in mind, guys, the reason as to why we're getting a little bit of buying right now is because we just finished taking out this London low liquidity all the way down here, right? So we can get more of a temporary pullback, which is what we're getting right now, in my opinion. Because the only thing that can happen for us to really see upside today, guys, is we just get random zero volume buying with no stopping, no nothing. And I don't trade those days. All right. So yeah. Now, what I'm expecting, guys, is two things. Right? You guys know I'm super, super bearish. I don't really typically marry the bias all this quick coming into market open. But guys, like I said a million times, we took out all-time highs. I don't have a reason to look for higher. I'm not interested. All right. So what I want to see here, guys, is I know right now we took out the London low. We're currently sweeping it, and we're going right back up. But this is pretty normal. Remember, guys, we took out a major level of liquidity, which is this London low. All right. So a reaction is bound to happen. All right. So what I want to see here is I want to see how far up we pull back, whether it's right here or maybe into the fair value gap. And I want to see if sellers are able to step back in off of this fair value gap and shoot this even lower to possibly target 2339. All right. And I got a weird notification sound on my phone. Let me check that out. Give me a second, guys. Hold up. I'm back. Yeah, I guess an app that I had kind of changed their notification sound. All right. Anyways, okay. That wick is disgusting. Not really. I mean, it's a pretty normal wick, honestly. Remember, we took out liquidity, we're sweeping it, and now we're pulling back. And like I said, I want this pullback, or I'm expecting this pullback to be a temporary pullback. I'm actually expecting the market to go lower. Why? Once again, we took out all-time highs. We have no more objectives to the upside, and the downside opportunity is pretty much endless. We have a million levels to the downside to really take out. For today, I'm going to be focusing on these two levels, which is going to be at 23.39 and 22.996. These are the two levels that I really, really want to take out. But first, obviously, we got to afford the pullback now, right? So it's bound to happen. Now, the question here is whether it's going to, this question right here, or yeah, this scenario right here is going to tell us whether we're going to get a trade today or not. All right, guys, if the market ends up pulling back and holding up this pullback to the point where we start breaking past all-time highs and new highs over and over and over, unfortunately, we're going to have to stay cash for the day or for the morning maybe. Why exactly? Because, guys, like I said, I am not interested in longs no matter what, and it's for a valid reason. There's no objectives. Guys, if we take longs anywhere up here, where's our price target? We're not going to be targeting this random level over here, nor this random level over here, because there's nothing there. All right, keep that in mind. All right. Now, let me see if we left something on the 15-minute time frame. We kind of did, which is kind of the same thing as the 5-minute. But like I said, guys, for now, what's going to tell us whether we get a trade this morning or not is whether we hold down this bearish rally gap or not. If we don't hold it down, it could be a little bit of an issue because obviously we have a reason to go up. I'm just not expecting us to go up all the way because obviously there's no more objectives. But we do have a reason as to why we're going up because obviously we took out the level of liquidity to a downside. All right, so we have our objective being met. All right, so now the question is can we retrace into this gap over here, reject from it, and hold down the selling? That's what we want to see. Yes has a setup. Oh no, bro, I'm done with ES. I don't care about ES. I'm done with that shit. Dude, whatever ES did to us yesterday, bro. Fuck all that, bro. I don't care if ES has the best setup in the world. I am not taking it anymore, bro. Dude, did you guys see what happened yesterday, bro? Let me show you. Hold on. For the people, maybe maybe you guys weren't paying attention. Guys, you guys remember how we took ES longs yesterday? And I'm like, guys, this setup looks perfect. We have all of the room into 312. We have no reason to go down, and we get chopped out. Guys, we got chopped out to one tick. One tick. Look at this. Look at this. We entered ES longs right here. We got chopped out, whatever. We get stopped out by one tick, and the trade hits our price target shortly after. Bro, I'm done with ES. I'm done. I'm done. Bro, I literally told you guys, I'm like, guys, I am so confident in this trade. We have no reason to go down, and I was right. But we chopped out, and we unfortunately hit the stop loss with that chop, and shortly after, the market just decides, oh, David is out. Let's go ahead and just rip it up. All right? But luckily, guys, we caught NQ longs shortly after because it was the same setup, same buy, same everything, but I just took it on NQ instead. And it ended up hitting for 35 points. So it made up for some of the loss. And then last night, obviously, you guys know we caught NQ shorts right after, and it played out for 70 points, pretty much making everything back and more. All right. And by the way, guys, we are currently signing off once again. And little do you know, we edged the stop. I mean, not the stop loss, the fair value gap, and we go back down. But it's normal, guys. I already told you guys we were expecting this. All right. Did I not? All right. And by the way, Grace, welcome back. All right. The new strat is entering off blast stop loss. Probably, bro. Probably. But anyways, guys, with the setup right now, did I not tell you guys a second ago, we were expecting a temporary pullback followed with another sell-off. What are we doing? Well, we sold off. We took out the London low. We pulled back temporarily. And now we're selling back down. Unfortunately, we kind of missed the fair value gap, which we could have probably gotten a trade from. But it's whatever. All right? Because it would have been a little bit messy either way since we're still holding above the London high. So what I want to do now, guys, is I want to see if the selling can really hold up to the hype or to the volume, I guess you could say. And what we could do here is if we sell off below this low right over here, this one, I'm going to remain super, super bearish. And I'm going to see if we can get a setup going below this level right here to trade it into these two levels right over here. All right. And so far, so good, guys. I mean, we're getting everything that we're expecting, right? We have the ultimate high sweep. We sold off. We have a lot of selling pressure. We took out the London low. We're getting a temporary pullback, whatever. It's normal. It happens. But now the question is can we really hold down the selling that we were just getting a second ago? All right. That's what matters. All right, guys. So, yeah. But guys, yesterday, bro, with that ES trade, I promise you guys, when you guys heard me, I sounded really defeated, bro. I'm like, all right, guys, I'm gonna get off live. Dude, that trade had me on like a chokehold, bro. That trade was something, man. Because you know what it is, me telling you guys that I'm super confident in a trade and I'm loving the way it looks, and I know we're gonna go up, and it goes down, and then shortly after it goes up, right as I get off the live, bro. So that sucks, man. That really does suck. But to be fair, we did end up making most if not all of it back, depending on how much you guys sized on the NQ long position from yesterday. But 35 points, it kind of made up for a break even trade on for the ES trade. All right, and then obviously last night, bro, you got the point. All right, bro always gets a clutch up trade. Not always, but I try, but some days it kind of catches up to me. You know what I mean? Yeah, I got you. Top G, I got you. Here you go. Just change these two right here. Turn these three off and leave these two on with these settings. All a part of trading. That's how it is, man. That's how it is. Into that trade and let God take care of it. That's yeah, man. I mean, that's how it is sometimes, man. But yesterday, straight, bro, one of the most unlucky trades that I've caught in a long time. Because there's been times where I've gotten top ticked or bottom ticked, and it just goes in my favor right after. But you know what it is? Me telling you guys, oh, I'm super confident behind this trade. Like I love it so much, and straight to shit. How long do you wait to see if the selling pressure is good enough? I don't wait a certain amount of time. I just look at the size and the speed of the candles. All right, guys. Now, I actually get asked this question so many times. All right. Now, in the meantime, while we wait for the setup to kind of do whatever it wants to do, and we wait for it, guys. I get a lot of you guys asking me saying, like, yo, when we're inversing a fair value gap, how do we know when to enter? Because some people just enter instantly, some people wait too long, and some people just don't know when to enter. And I always tell you guys, wait for selling pressure or buying pressure. But some of you guys are like, yo, what the hell does that mean? Guys, what I mean by that is when the candle is moving really, 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 really slow and it goes above a fair value gap or a fair value gap inverse, guys, that is not your cue to enter. Remember, behind a trade, we need our confirmations, that being the trend, the drawn liquidity sweep, and the MSS model. Right? On top of that, we need a fair value gap and a fair value gap to inverse. Right? But that does not mean that the trade is going to work out in your favor just yet, because you're missing one key detail. And really think about it, guys. All right? Really, really think about it for the next time that you enter your own trade based off an inverse and you're looking for the volume. All right? There's a certain amount of volume that goes into the market that will convince you that price has enough room or enough strength to shoot into the price target. Let me show you guys. All right? Let's say, for example, we have a price target right over here. Right? Let's say we're looking for longs. This is an example. Right? We took out the London low. We're holding above it. We have a D-wall sweep. Buying pressure's coming in. It looks beautiful. Right? And as we're approaching this bearish value gap right over here, right? Look, we have a lot of buying pressure, all that good stuff. And we're approaching the fair value gap, and price starts slowing down and giving you about 10 to 15 point size candles, right? And it's looking very, very, very slow, right? But we're still grinding up. I mean, the trend is bullish. We have all of the confirmations lined up, and it looks really good. But the volume is so slow, right? And out of nowhere, guys, we inverse the fair value gap. With this type of volume right here, do you guys think that buyers have enough strength to go up a little bit higher into up here? In most cases, no. Why? Because, guys, it is chopping up like crazy. You guys need to keep that in mind. So when you're looking for an entry, you guys need to make sure that we have a lot of buyers stepping or sellers, a lot of buyers or sellers stepping in, and we go through this fair value gap with a lot of aggression. All right. And what does that aggression mean? What that aggression means, guys, is when you look at the candle, right? You're looking at two things. How fast is the candle? Look at this right now, guys. Look at this. We just went from going all the way up here to selling off all the way down here. That's really aggressive. All right. And you also want to be looking at the size of the candle. If the candle is 5, 9, 10, 15 points, that is not tradable. You're gonna get faked out. In more times than not, you're gonna get faked out. All right. So look for the size of the candle and look for the speed of the candle. If the candle is moving by 0.00025 points, then don't take the trade. Even if we get the inverse. Just because we get the inverse doesn't mean that the entry is valid, because you're gonna get faked out. Now, if you guys look at my alerts, all right, what do I look for when I'm taking a trade? Look at this. Do I not tell you guys all the time when we're in the live trading? Guys, don't enter yet. Don't enter yet. I'm still waiting for a breakout. Then we get the breakout. right? Just like this. Look at this. Right here, we got a breakout. It wasn't that strong, right? It was a very, very slow breakout through the fair value gap. Right here, another very slow breakout. And then right here, we got a very strong selling aggression, aggressive selling candle to a downside. And I'm like, okay, this is my entry. So then I entered right over here. All right, guys, you guys need to pay attention to that. All right, let's look at another one. All right, let's look at NQ, for example. Look at this, guys. Right? Notice how on ES, we kind of took more of a little bit of a slow trade. It wasn't the slowest trade. We did get faked out a little bit because of the chop, but obviously it's not going to be guaranteed all the time. Right? But look at this, guys. All right, look at NQ longs right over here. Right, check this out. What do we have here? Look at the candle. Very, very nice, strong buying candle right here. All right? This is where we enter. All right, guys, you guys need to pay attention to this. All right, so just in case, you know, when you guys are wondering, like, for example, when I do commentary trades and I'm like, guys, look for your own entry, but make sure you guys are waiting for very, very strong selling pressure. All right, just like this. Let me show you guys. All right, I always show you guys just like this. Look, keep an eye out for an impulse above the gap. And then look at this. We got a break above the gap, right? But let me ask you guys, all right, is there an impulse anywhere here? No. We broke above the gap for not even 1 point. So I told you guys, obviously, there is no impulse above the gap. So there's no entry. All right. I tell you guys 1,000,001 times. If there's no impulse or strong buying or selling candle above or below the gap, just don't take it. All right, guys. Just so you know for next time, because a lot of you guys are always asking me, like, yo, like, what do I look for? Blah, blah, blah. Just look for a nice candle. All right. So yeah. Anyways, coming back to the market, guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. We have a lot of volume in the market. I do like the volume, but the market is not really moving all that much. We're kind of sandwiched in between these two spaces over here. So hopefully we're able to get a breakout sometime soon. Like I said, I'm so expecting downside pretty much all day today. It's just I'm trying to find something that we could trade off of it to really, you know, get something going. All right, guys. So yeah. David enters shorts for us so the market can go up. All right, bro. Impulse, then a pullback for the entry. What do you mean? What do you mean? Is this like in general, or are you asking that for this setup right over here? Hey David, are my trading days supposed to restart after a request payout? No, they're not. No. So for example, if you have 20 days traded on your PA chart and you request a payout, it will stay at 20 days. What's good, bro? What's good? If it goes past where you want to enter, if it goes past above this fair value gap right over here, I'm just not gonna be too interested in shorts until we get another sell-off below this London low. All right, because remember, guys, I told you I want to see strong selling pressure coming in because I don't want to see upside today at all. So I want to see a sell-off below this London low with a setup around here. I gotta turn off trading view on my laptop. I want to see a setup form around here so we can trade it into these two levels right here. The one right here and the one right here. Those are the two levels I want to see. What about when the volume is crazy? Like for setups, that's even better. That means that you don't really have to question like, yo, should I enter now or should I enter in a bit? No, if the volume is good before and during the setup, just take the setup. You know what I mean? But what I'm trying to say is when the volume is really slow, guys, always look for the speed, aggression, and size of the candle. If there's nothing there, just don't take the entry. It's that simple. How much should I make on my 50K before I request a payout? I personally suggest about 54,000. I know that might sound a little bit crazy, but think about it. All right, if you want to request a full $2,000 payout, right, that money is going to be subtracted from your account. Now, if you request a $2,000 payout at the bare minimum, you're going to have very, very, very little breathing room after you request that payout, and the account is not going to last that long, right? Because you could probably afford maybe 1 to 2 losing trades before the account goes to shit. All right, so what I pretty much like to tell people is if you don't need the money instantly and you feel like you can grow that account a little bit more before you request a payout, try to get it to 54,000, request 2,000, and you're going to have $2,000 more or left of drawdown. All right, so that's what I like to, tell people. Now, if you really need the money, I know sometimes, bills come along or you just want the money or whatever, there's nothing wrong with requesting the payout at the bare minimum. Just know that obviously you're risking a little bit more towards the account because you're not going to have as much of a buffer on the account anymore. Because remember, guys, when you request a payout, they subtract whatever you requested from the account. All right, and as long as the account never goes below $50,100, it'll stay alive. All right, but obviously, the more you request and the closer it gets, that means that the less you can afford to risk. All right, so keep that in mind, guys. Keep that in mind. Let me see. Someone on YouTube said, "Why is your buys short?" Because we took out all-time highs, and we really don't have anything else. Like, not even that we don't have much. We literally don't have anything to the upside anymore, right? So obviously, if we don't have anything to the upside, and we took out the objective to the upside, why else would we wanna, trade upside? You know what I mean? It just makes no sense. So yeah, let me see. David, if my payout gets denied, do I still keep my P&L? Yeah, you do. They don't take any money away. They don't close your account. They don't do anything. They'll tell you what the issue is. They'll tell you how to fix it, and you just make a little bit more money. In most cases, it's mainly because you probably broke the 30% rule or you had an inconsistency rule. Those are the two main reasons that I'm always seeing in terms of a payout denied. But yeah, Blast, why don't you use a 15-minute time frame? I don't think we have a setup on the 15-minute time frame. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing, pretty much. I thought we had a setup here, but I was kind of wrong. It's about 30 points, so it's not enough for me to really take it. So we're still waiting on something to form right around this area. So I'm kind of more on the 5-minute. If I don't see anything on the 5-minute, then I will go over to the 15-minute. But today's volume looks pretty good, so I guess we'll just stick to the 5-minute instead. 119 is a decent setup, right? 119. What do we have at 119? I'm assuming you're talking about this candle right here, which you think is a fair value gap, but it's not. This candle is 12 points. Yeah, not enough. Oh, 15-minute time frame. Yeah, same candle right here. Not enough. It's about 30 points. Not enough of an imbalance in the market, especially on the 15-minute time frame. But anyways, we got a strong selling candle, and we actually just broke below the London low. So guys, all right, here's the new game plan, right? Obviously, we're not gonna go all the way back here to reject off this fair value gap to then go back down into the same range that we're at right now. That's not gonna happen. All right. Now, what are we doing right now? Well, we took out the London low, we swept it, we went up, and we went back down. Did I not tell you guys that we were gonna pull back and temporarily go back down, or temporarily pull back up and then go back down? Did I not tell you guys? Right? This is normal. Now, what is the next thing we need, guys? We have all of the confirmations. All right. Let's take a step back. All right. We have the all-time highs. We swept all-time highs around this area. Now, the market finally got weak around this range. And what are we doing? Well, the market went from creating the main low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, into now creating the main high, lower high, lower high, lower high on the smaller time frame. So the smaller time frame bias or trend is bearish. All right. So right now we have a DO sweep, an MSS model, right? And we're getting enough selling pressure to hold below the London low, meaning that if we're able to hold below this London low, we're probably going to shoot into the next level of liquidity, which is all the way down at 23.39, which is about 100 points away. All right. So the current game plan, guys, that I want to see in the market is I want to see the market be able to sell off in this candle right here. I want to see it sell off until, like, let's see, I would need it to sell off all the way down into 23.107, which I don't know if you see. It's a little iffy right now. We're kind of bouncing up, whatever. But if we do end up selling off randomly in the next 2 minutes, I would want to see it hit 23,107. All right. Now, if we sell off all the way down to 23,107, we're gonna create a 40-point fair value gap on the 5-minute time frame. If we're able to get a 40-point fair value gap on the 5-minute time frame, we could trade a retracement into the gap above shortly after to then take shorts to then target 23.39. I want to see this one setup. I don't really see anything else happening in the market. Because remember, guys, the more we sell off with the less setups that we get to the downside, we can't do anything about it, right? We're going to get closer to our price target. We're not going to be making as much money, and the setup just gets less and less and less more likely to play out. All right, so we need a sell-off to happen sometime soon so we can get something cooking up. All right. And like I said, I know we have a gap here, and I know we could use it, but I'm really not expecting the market to push up all the way back up to the same pullback that we had a few minutes ago to retrace into the fair value gap to then go back down into the same spot that we're at right now. It makes no sense. I mean, like, why spend all that money in the markets to do absolutely nothing, right? So what we want to see right now is get about a 25-point sell-off to see if we can get this fair value gap to form. If not, we can probably get it in the next candle. But let's see, we have a minute left. Maybe we get a lot of selling aggression, and maybe we can get it here. Right? Remember, we want to see 107, right? To form that 40-point gap here for the setup, well, you want to see 107. All right, Trump is saying stuff right now, bro. When is he not saying stuff, bro? Tell me something that surprises me. You know what I mean? Someone here said, why can't we use the 30-minute time frame? It's not why can't you use it, because you definitely can use it. You can use any time frame. You can use the daily time frame, the 1 hour time frame, the 1 minute time frame. They're gonna play out the same. Now, I personally don't really use the 30-minute time frame for myself, and I don't really suggest it, mainly because it takes way too long for a setup to form. I mean, you know what it is, having to wait three 30-minute candles to then get a retracement and then get an entry. That's too long, man. You know what I mean? I would much rather just wait for something on the 5 minutes to form, which is more likely to get retraced into and play out a lot faster. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying that the 30-minute time frame does not work at all. It actually does. In fact, it works a little bit better than any other time frame. Because guys, remember, the higher the time frame, the more likely the setup is going to play out, just because the less noise there is and the cleaner the chart looks, right? So if you look at the 30-minute time frame, doesn't it look way cleaner? It does, right? But I just don't like waiting all day long. Remember, guys, I'm more of a scalper slash day trader rather than someone that holds a trade all day long because I'm trading on the higher time frame, right? I would kind of suggest if you're going to be trading the higher time frame, I would suggest that you guys are more of a swing trader, right? And with futures or with prop firms, you can't really swing trade. All right, why exactly am I saying that you're a swing trader? Well, guys, with the higher time frame, obviously everything is going to take so much longer to play out. The setup is going to take longer to form. The retracements are going to take longer to get into. The rejections are going to take longer because on the 5-minute time frame it could be really choppy, but on the 30-minute time frame or 1 hour time frame it could be a lot cleaner. But it's going to play out so much longer, right? So that's something, if you're like an options trader, maybe you could do that. But for me personally, I'm more of a scalper. I like my trades in and out quick. So I kind of just like the 5 and 15-minute time frame instead. Plus, if we can form a setup on the 30-minute time frame, it's more than likely that we're probably going to form a setup on the 5 and 15-minute time frame as well. You know what I mean? So you get the best of both worlds, in my opinion. All right, let me see. Blast, we've been getting stuck. We've been getting stuck in 2 hour trades lately. Yeah. I mean, these last 2 or 3 trading days have been pretty hard. I will say on Friday we took a little bit of an L. I tried making it back on Friday, but I literally couldn't find another setup because the market was so slow. Yesterday we got caught in a little bit of a slow trade. We made it back with NQ, or made some of it back. That's what I'm gonna say. But shortly after, during the nighttime, we caught a pretty quick trade. That trade was like what, maybe 20 minutes, maybe. Let me see. The trade from last night was, we caught it at 10:17 and we got out at 10:32. So yeah, like 15 minutes to catch 70 points. So hopefully we're back to a fast market. But yeah, I do agree, bro. Lately, the markets have been pretty slow, man. Pretty slow and pretty tricky to trade, man. I will say that because, guys, obviously, um, you know what it is, going from a super easy market to trade, going on a 50-day winning streak, and then going into all of a sudden the hardest market in the world where we can't even get a winning trade, or not like that, but we can't get a quick trade is what I try to say. All right, because we're getting winning trades, right? But it's just they're playing out very slow. I don't think too many people caught the trade from last night. Well, at the same time, man, I can't really go to everyone to over 1,000 people's houses and be like, and knock on the door and be like, yo, I'm about to enter NQ shorts. You know what I mean? Yeah, of course. It's not really my fault. I can't do much about it. You know what I mean? I made sure to put out before I took the setup. I'm like, guys, the market's going crazy. Do you guys want to trade? Most people said yeah. Most people called me crazy because we're taking a trade at 10 at night. But the setup was there. We took it and it played out, right? It's whether you cut it or not. That's up to you. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's absolutely no excuses, and that goes for any and every alert. You know what I mean? I always make sure to tell you guys, like, hey, make sure you're paying attention. Make sure you have your notifications on. If there's nothing there, you know what I mean, then maybe don't take it. It was at like 4 a.m. I mean, bro, what can I tell you, bro? The markets run all day long, all night long. You know what I mean? A carrier pigeon, bro. But yeah, and that goes for a lot of trades. I mean, in my opinion, bro, I've come to learn the hard way. Like, in life, man, not even trading, in life, bro, you really can't make everyone happy. No matter what you do, man. I give out a winning trade and people are like, oh, blah 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 blah. I give out a losing trade and everyone is mad. I mean, so I've come to learn from it. I really just don't care. I just don't get bothered by it anymore. So yeah. Remember, at the end of the day, guys, I'm trading for myself and I'm just streaming it. So you guys, if you guys want to follow, it's up to you. You know what I mean? It's free will. All right, but yeah. Let me see. Yes, on the other hand, this Asia low over here. Let me kind of chart out everything on ES just in case we get. I'm not gonna say we get a setup because I'm not gonna take it on ES. I'm done with ES. But if you get a read, maybe we can transfer that over to NQ as well. And then I'm assuming this is the London low, right? Let me see. No, this is actually another Asia low, so it's more of an internal. This would be an internal low. Internal low DOL. Do we have a London low? Yeah, we do. We took it out already. And yeah, we also took it out on NQ. Now we did create a fair. Hold up. We kind of created a fair value gap here, no? No way we did. What? How is this not 40 points? I was gonna say, guys, maybe we could look for an inverse here, but either way, I don't want to I don't want to get caught up with anything in this range over here because it is pretty choppy, and obviously we don't have the best experience with chop and trading slow markets. So if I get a trade, I would want it to be getting out of this range down here and just breaking out of here. The resistance looking good. The thing is, I wouldn't want to take shorts up here because keep in mind, okay, look, okay, here, look, this is my thought process, right? So in order for us to remain bearish, we need to hold below the level of liquidity that we just took out, right? So currently, the level of liquidity that we took out was this London low right over here. But what are we doing? We're holding above it. Right now, I get it. We can go up and we can retrace into the fair value gap, which I wasn't really expecting, but we're getting it either way. But we can retrace into the gap and sell back down. All right. But what's the problem here? The problem here is we're still holding above the London low, meaning that the bias is technically bullish, although we're not expecting any higher. You know what I mean? The bias is technically bullish because we took out a level of liquidity and we are sweeping it. We're holding above it. All right. So that's the problem. So although we could take shorts off this, it wouldn't be your best setup. So I would rather get a bias, just, making sure that sellers retrace to the gap here. I mean, buyers retrace to the gap, sellers to control, and we dumped it back down. And whatever setup we create going back down, we could take that instead. So use this setup right here for more of a bias. And depending on the setup that we get, then we can get an entry somewhere down here. Do you get what I'm saying? Hopefully that made sense. Let me know in the chat if that made sense. David, would you say the markets are slower now compared to before? Well, you got to keep in mind, oh, by the way, guys, we're inside of the gap. But you got to keep in mind, the markets have conditions. Some days or some weeks or maybe even some months, it will be the most volatile markets you will ever see in your life. And some days, some weeks or some months, it might be the slowest market. It's normal, right? This is known as a market cycle, right? The market cycles through volume. The market cycles through news, right? Depending on how the news is coming, you could just, go based off that. All right, that's how the market is going to react. Remember, the market is reacted based off the economy, based off how companies are doing, and all that stuff. Right? If companies are doing bad, the market's probably going to go down or maybe even chop up. All right, keep that in mind. All right, so it's all market cycles. What's good, Leos? What's good, my man? Yeah, should we look for an inverse? If you look for an inverse, you're probably not gonna get too much of a trade here. Yeah, look, your literal only price target to the upside is 24 points. If there was more to the upside, then I would say, yeah, maybe you can look for an inverse here. Because we still have this CPI data high, no? No, we don't. The CPI data high was right here. I'm supposed to say that ES still had it, which, yeah, we do. We still do have it over here. So I'm gonna delete this level right over here. Actually, I'm gonna keep it alive real quick, just for a second. In fact, hold on. Let me change this up real quick. Let me kind of put this here. All-time high / Asia high DOL. And then we have the CPI data high over here. CPI data high. And new all-time highs. Because I got to put here that we swept it. They will sweep. Just to make sure that we know this level is no longer like, There we go. Now, can we take longs? Because obviously, I know I'm saying that I wouldn't want to take longs at all, and I still don't because, guys, okay, look, here's what I'm trying to say, right? Right now, we have our setup is telling us to go long, right? It technically is, right? Why exactly? All right. Although I'm personally bearish because I have my reasonings, there's just no more liquidity above. Our setup or not our strategy, our model is telling us to go long. Why? Once again, guys, we took out the all-time highs, we sold off, we hit the objective, we're holding above the objective, confirming the deal will sweep, and we're getting a lot of buying pressure kicking in, and we are now in seller territory, which is also known as the bearish rally gap. Now, if buyers are in so much control, we could inverse this bearish rally gap and possibly take longs. It's not a bad idea. Should we do it? Probably not. And the reason I'm saying probably not, guys, is because look, right now the market is pretty volatile, meaning that we're probably gonna have to use a 35-point stop loss, right? Because we gotta give the trade a little bit of room to breathe. Now, let's say for example we do 30 points, right? Let's just say 30 points, right? Our one and only price target to the upside is 24 points, and that's if you get a picture perfect setup. Entry at 23,198.25. Obviously, we need to make sure that buyers get the impulse above. So we're probably going to get more of a later entry, maybe around the 200 range, around there, giving us a 20-point price target. That's not enough, in my opinion. For one price target and one price target only, that's not enough. Now, if you guys want to take it, by all means, this setup looks pretty reasonable. Just in my opinion, the risk reward and just the room in the market, I don't like it for myself, but I'm not saying that the setup is bad at all. Why am I saying the setup is not bad? Because remember, guys, we had the London low, we took it out, we're sweeping it, and we have a lot of buying pressure to the point where we're inversing, literally as we speak, the bearish rally gap. So, by all means, if you guys want to take the setup, you definitely could. If it's up to you, if you guys really want to risk it. In my opinion, if you were to ask me if I were to take the setup, I would say no, just because even if you're gonna do the bare minimum, a stop loss, which is about 30 points, you're just not looking at a good risk reward ratio trade at all. I mean, you're risking 30 points to get maximum 24 points. All right. So stop, profit, take loss as setup. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Now, like I said, it's not a bad setup. And if you guys really like it and you guys really want to risk it and take it, by all means, go for it. But I mean, look at what's happening. All right. So be careful. Be careful for sure. All right. Now, obviously, I'm pretty good on the day, so I'm probably not even gonna alert it. Even if I wasn't good on the day, I probably wouldn't take the setup either way. All right. What about the fair value gap between 10:05 and 10:15? Between two bullish candles. Well, on the 5-minute time frame, if you measure both of these candles, they are both 35 and 30 points, which is not enough to really get a good imbalanced trade going. All right. On the 50-minute time frame, you would imagine that we have a fair value gap, but we don't, because there is no gap anywhere. We have an imbalance, but there is no gap anywhere to be found, right? So we can't take longs off any of the retracements. Keep that in mind. All right, so technically speaking, the only setup that we have right now is the setup right here on NQ, and it's just not a good risk reward ratio trade setup, whatever it is. All right, so like I said, I really personally wouldn't take the setup if I were you guys, but if we somehow get a red to green candle flip and you like the buying to the point where you know we're gonna see the all-time highs get hit, then by all means take it. All right, I'm gonna be here kind of commentating just in case it looks good. I'll let you guys know, although I don't really suggest it. I'll let you guys know. All right, why don't you look at ES to see if it's similar? I do. But ES kind of like it's a little bit weaker today, I will say. But I'm not interested in ES after what happened yesterday, so I'm good off that. Shorts, like I said, I wouldn't want to take shorts here either, just because we're still holding above the London high. So today we're being very, very picky with our setups. That's just because I don't want to give you guys a losing trade whatsoever. All right, I want to be making sure that the setups look as perfect as possible, and right now it's not really the case. So we're still waiting. We're still waiting. You want to go shorts? If you want to, I mean, by all means, go for it. I mean, to be fair, we are kind of still rejecting off this fair value gap, although we kind of tapped into the complete top of it. If we get a 30-point sell-off, I mean, you actually could take shorts. I mean, we're technically still bearish, although the model is not telling us that we're bearish yet, because we need to hold below the London low. But if you believe that we're not going to see higher because of all-time highs and we have room for lower into 23.39 and lower, you could possibly take shorts. But right now, guys, we're in a spot where it's really, really hard to tell, because buyers are trying to step in, but we don't have a long position. Sellers are also trying to step in, but we barely have a short setup. Although we have the short confirmations, we just don't have the setup. All right, so it's really, really, really hard to tell what the market wants to do right now, guys. So if you were to ask me what I would do, just stay a little bit patient, wait for a little bit more volume to kick in, or a little bit more momentum to kick in. You know, a little bit more of a read to come into the market. and then just get a setup from there. Remember, guys, we have all day. The market hasn't even been an hour since the market opened. We have time. We have time for a setup to form. All right, especially with the volume today with CPI coming in, you're fine. All right, no need to rush any setups right now. All right, so right now, obviously, if you guys want to work with something off this 5-minute fair value gap, you could. I don't really suggest it because in both sides it's kind of whatever. But I do want to work for something below this level right here. I'll be interested in this right here. Yes, sir, bro. Let's see. David, we have to adapt to the market conditions. The market is slow, which means we don't have a lot of big candles. So I would say a 30 candle is quite valid. I'm very picky on my setups. Look, man, you said it yourself. You have to adapt to a slow market. Do we trade slow markets? No. So if the market is slow, just don't trade it. All right? I'm not adapting to anything. You know what I mean? I'm not adapting to trading 20-point candles because that's not what I do. I have rules in my strategy. I stick to my rules, which is why we stay so consistent. All right? I'm not going to change my rules up just because the market is slow. If the market is slow, regardless whether we get a setup or not, it's probably not even going to play out because the market is so slow in the first place. All right? So if that's what you want to do, I mean, you could. Just know that it could be a little bit trickier to trade, and it just probably won't even line up with all of your confirmations. All right? So in my opinion, bro, I would just avoid it. You know what I mean? That's what I would do. David, I'm trying to understand in more detail why there isn't a short setup. All right, let me explain to you. All right, pay attention here. And this goes for everyone else here. All right, now, technically, right, we are bearish. We ourselves, we're bearish. Although our model is telling us to stay bullish, we're bearish. All right, now, why am I telling you guys that there isn't a short setup? Although we're kind of rejecting off a bearish value gap. Well, not really, but we were. Let's say that we are right now, right? Guys, you need to keep in mind, all right? Pay attention here, all right? It all comes down to levels of liquidity, all right? Guys, we have the Asia high, all-time high deal over here. We took it out, and we're going back down, meaning that we have taken out every single level of liquidity to the upside, and we don't have anything else above, meaning that we are bearish, right? Now, with the market selling off, or with the market, it was selling off, right? We hit our objective at the London low, which is fine. Typically with our strategy, right? When we're looking at a level of liquidity getting taken out, what our model tells us is, hey, wait for a reaction. Do we hold above the level after we take it out, or do we hold below it to go into the next level below? In this case, although we are super, super bearish for ourselves, we think we're bearish, right? We took out the level of liquidity below the London low right over here. We took it out, and we're still holding above it, meaning that we're still bullish. Now, you might be thinking, hey, we were rejecting off a bearish rally gap at the time that you asked the question. Why can't I take shorts? Guys, remember, when we take out a level of liquidity, in order for us to remain in that bias, let's say, for example, the market is selling off and we took out a low to the downside, right? In order for us to remain bearish to the downside, we need to make sure that price is able to hold below the liquidity that we took out. So if we take shorts off of this fair value gap, which the entry should be around here, right? We know for the 30-point rejection, the whole 9 yards, whatever, right? We would enter shorts here. Is this entry below the London low that we took out not too long ago? No, it's still above it, meaning that our model is still telling us you shouldn't be taking shorts because the bias is technically bullish. Although we're not expecting the market to go up because obviously of levels of liquidity, the model is telling us that we're going to go higher into 23,222. All right, which is why I'm telling you guys, an inverse off the setup, or off this entry model right here off the setup, wouldn't be horrible. I just wouldn't take it myself because obviously we don't have room for higher. You know what I mean? It's like a 20-point target. That's not worth it if you're risking 30 points. You know what I mean? That's not something I want to do. Now, could we take shorts? No. I mean, well, you could, but it's just not going to be confirmed. Remember, if you're looking for a perfect A+ model, you need to make sure that everything aligns perfectly. All right? So let me know in the chat if it made sense to you guys. Maybe you guys were thinking about that question, or for the person that asked the question, let me know. Got it? Perfect. All right? So what can we do instead? All right? Wasn't listening? All right, bro. Anyways, guys, what can we do instead? All right? So pay attention here. All right, guys? Now, like I said, the market hasn't even been open for an hour yet. All right, so we have time. We have a lot of time for the day, right? So a setup can form any second of the day. All right, so we're not rushing the setup. But what I want to see right now, guys, is let's say the market wants to sell off from this fair value gap projection, right? So we tapped into the fair value gap. We're selling back down, right? What are we confirming? We're confirming that obviously sellers are stepping in. Sellers want the market to go lower. So we're going to be using this fair value gap right here, this fair value gap projection, if we end up getting it, as a bias, not as an entry, but as a bias. All right. Now, if sellers can step in off of this bearish fair value gap and go lower into below this London low, and we create another fair value gap right down here, then we can confirm, hey, sellers stepped in here, sellers are in control, we're holding below the London low. If we can get a setup here, we can take this setup right over here, right into the liquidity below. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Let me know. Let me know. If you want, type a 1 in the chat, type a yes in the chat, a thumbs up in the chat, whatever. Just let me know if it makes sense to you guys, just so I know, if it makes sense. All right. Yes. Perfect. All right. Now, a 1, someone said a 3. Real funny. Real funny. All right. Anyways, let me see. Someone here said, wait, where's the chat? I mean, where's the question? Someone said something about a 30-point rule. Oh, right here. David, can you explain your 30-point bounce rule? Okay. Now, very, very simple. Actually, super simple. All right. It just takes a little bit of common sense. All right. Now, when we're trading, I'm gonna ask you guys. Let me ask you guys. All right. When we're taking a trade, what is the usual stop loss that we always use? Let me know. 30. Exactly. All right. Now, when we're looking for a fair value gap retracement, not an inverse, but a continuation model, for example, like we have a bearish fair value gap, we go into it and we reject back down, right? How do we enter? Well, guys, let's say, for example, we retrace into the fair value gap and we got a 15-point sell-off, right? So if we enter off of that sell-off and we place our stop loss at where we rejected from, we're going to have a 15-point stop loss. That is too, you're not giving the trade breathing room for a pullback, all right? So what do we do instead? So when we're looking, for example, let me kind of retrace this back a little bit, right? Let me go back here, right? For example, let's say that we're getting a rejection off this fair value gap, right? So right now we saw a fair value gap, we saw that we retraced into the fair value gap, and we saw that we're currently rejecting from it, right? What we could do in this case, guys, is we're gonna place our short thing here on that TradingView has to offer. What we're gonna do is you're gonna place you can place it anywhere in the chart, right? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna double click this, click short position, place it anywhere on the chart, move your stop loss to the top of the candle, right, where we rejected from, which would be at 23,198, right? And you're going to put your stop loss where this number says 30, all right? Remember, this is before you get an entry, all right? Chart froze? No, I'm using the replay feature. Anyways, what you're going to be doing is when your stop says 23, you're going to move this down to where it says 30, which would be right here. Now, when the stop loss is 30, what this is telling you is, boom, you found your entry. All right. So just like that, that's how we find a 30-point bounce or rejection confirmation from the fair value gap retracement. You're good, bro. You're good. All right. So what are we looking for typically when to find our entry? Well, right now it kind of seems like the market is selling off, right? You put your stop loss up here, right? You would average this out to 30 points by dragging the thing here and there. Once you see 30 points, you're going to look over to the right. Wherever this number is grayed out, 23,168, that's going to be your entry. So once the chart sells off enough into this price, that's when you enter. Because if you enter at 23,168 and you set your stop loss at exactly where the market rejected from, which is at 23,198, you have an exact 30-point stop loss, which is exactly what we use ourselves. All right. So then you would enter off here, and then you would just have your price targets over here, and over here, just like that. Now, someone in the chat is asking, and by the way, guys, the market is getting very ugly. We're getting a lot of wicks here. I'm not liking it that much. All right. Someone said, how do you do it on TradeAvate? Unfortunately, TradeAvate does not have this option. So the only way you can really find an entry is whether you do the math off of it, which we're not trying to do math, man. We're trying to trade. All right. So what you could do, TradeAvate, I agree. But what you're going to do is go over to TradingView really quick, set up your chart, whatever. You're going to click on, let me see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to click on the 5th option over here. Double click it. It's going to say short position or long position, depending whether it's bullish or bearish. And you're just going to place it anywhere on the chart and just do exactly how I taught you. All right. I mean, just like that, you have yourself an entry model. All right. So whoever asked the question, give me a thumbs up if that made sense. Or if you guys had the same question, give me a yes, a thumbs up, whatever. Just so I know you guys are, obviously understanding. All right. Are you interested in taking the setup? No. No, I already explained as to why. I'm not interested in longs because there's no room to the upside. It's like 25 points. That's not enough. And to the downside, as long as we hold above this level right here, I'm not gonna take shorts. All right. Until this selling candle sells off below this level, I won't be interested in shorts. After we do this, if we end up doing it, then yeah, I'll be interested. David, what about the 30-minute bullish rally gap that dude, I'm talking like 2 times elixir speed, bro. I just, yo, let me slow down. David, what about the 30-minute bullish rally gap that we can inverse below the London low? Oh, the 30-minute, like I said, bro, I don't really trade off the 30-minute fair value gap. It just takes too long. I don't like it that much. Bro's an overtime triple elixir. Nah, bro, like now I'm hyped up, bro, because, bro, guys, yesterday, bro, I went to sleep with a big fat smile on my face, bro. And I'm sure if you guys caught the trade as well, you did too, right? So I'm kind of hyped up, you know what I mean? We're sitting super green on the week. We made back the loss from that stupid trade yesterday from ES, even though it worked out. You know what I mean? So we're good. We're good on the week. We're good on the week, all right? So yeah, today it's more, you know what I mean? I get to interact with you guys a little bit more just because I'm not super focused on getting a setup since we already kind of got one for the day. But I'm still trying to get one for you guys, of course. All right? And, wow, this candle kind of just opened up instantly and kind of just sold off and pumped up. That was weird. But anyways. But yeah, I'm still trying to get you guys a setup. But just because, you know, we already got a winning setup for today, I'm not really, like, super focused on like, oh, I need a setup right now. You know what I mean? So I get to interact with you guys a lot more and actually do what I like doing, which is teaching you guys instead of having you guys rely off me for an alert. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's why I'm catching up with the chat a lot more than I am in, you know, usual time. All right, let me catch up with YouTube. We're also in summertime, so that has a lot of slower price action. Dude, what is your YouTube profile, bro? Guys, bro, look at who asked this question, bro. Bro, what is his name, bro? No, guys, summertime has nothing to do with price action, bro. All right, guys, there's what is the word? I think it's like a misconception. Is that what it is? Like, it's like something like that. But guys, a lot of you guys get confused saying like, oh, guys, last year or in the last 2 years during July, it's known to have the slowest price action. No, that is not true, guys. The time of the day of the week, or the day of the month has nothing to do with price action, guys. Your typical Monday is not guaranteed to be slow. Your typical Friday is not guaranteed to be slow either. All right, guys, it all depends as to what's happening in the market. Is the economy doing good? Is CPI doing good? Is FOMC doing good? Are the companies doing good? What is going on? God forbid there's a war. All right, guys, take that into consideration, guys. For example, last year, July, it's the 15th today. July 15th of last year, slowest day of the year. Does that have to happen this year? No. All right, guys, don't get it confused like that. All right, that's not how the market works. All right, because imagine there's an investor in Wall Street and he's like, oh, bro, I can't wait to invest $1 billion into the market, but he's like, oh, I can't because last year this happened. You know what I mean? No, that's not how it works. You know what I mean? It all depends on how the companies are doing and just the overall world, you know, the U.S. economy and everything. All right. Do I need to use Tradevate for Apex? No. You could do rhythmic or wealth charts. I've never used wealth charts, but I don't know if it's good or not. Yeah, the selling pressure is coming in. Beautiful, right? Remember, we need enough selling pressure to hold below this London low. All right, once we hold below it, then yeah, we could start looking for a setup to the downside. All right. Anyways, someone said here, David, bro. Wait, let me just water. All right, someone said here, I caught the ES trade and lost it. Then when I tried to enter the NQ trade, that shit rejected me. So I emailed Apex, and they were talking about the servers being down, but it fucked me over from making my profits back. Well, one thing I will tell you, bro, is Apex servers were definitely not down. Because it doesn't matter whether Apex is up or down. Because remember, you're trading on Tradevate. All right, Apex is just the provider. Once you have that account on Tradevate, it's just Tradevate. Now, I will ask you, did you end up blowing your account with that loss from ES or no? Because maybe you did. Maybe that's why you... No? That's weird. Because I didn't have any issues, and I didn't really see anyone else have any issues in the chat with the second trade that we caught, the 35-point trade on NQ. So you made 300 during Asia. I'm assuming that's from the trade from last night, right? Which is also good. You know what I mean? At least we made something back. But that's weird. That's really weird. Because I didn't have any issues, and I don't think anyone else did either. Short entry? No. Bro, do you want to enter shorts off this? Not yet. Like I said, guys, remember, I'm saying it 1,000,001 times, but I'll say it again, just for you guys. All right? I'm bearish. Yes, I want the market to go lower. And I'm expecting the market to go lower, yes. But I don't see a setup yet. And you might be wondering, didn't we just get a bearish radical projection? Yes, but keep in mind, guys, we're still holding above the London low. All right? So once price is able to sell off below 23,132, then I'll be open to taking shorts. If not, I'm not taking it. All right. You said it enough. We get it. I mean, bro, people keep asking. All right. Read from yesterday's ES trade. We all are. We all are. But we made everything back. At least if you're paying attention. Anyways, someone here in the ass in the chat has something. Let me see. Let me see. David, if no setups form, which one of these setups would you take if you have to choose one? Just wondering. Let me see. All right. Now Jerome, he said it in a pretty mean way, but I agree with him. There's no price targets to that. All right. You're taking a short setup after we hit most of our price targets. For example, if we inverse this fair value gap, you're inversing it as we take out this price target. So it won't really make so much sense. But let's say, for example, we don't have any of these price targets and it's just a very clean setup. Well, in this case, I would kind of take, okay, so let's say, for example, we sell off whatever. Let me see. If you enter off this 15-minute gap right here, you would have a 20-point price target. So this entry right here wouldn't be your best one, right? Because if we inverse this one, you're going to go straight down into the next fair value gap. Now, if we inverse this one, do we have room for lower? Well, actually we do, right? So in this case, I would enter off this gap right over here. This one, this 15-minute gap. So not this one, mainly because if you inverse this one, your price target is right around the corner, which is about 15 points, 15 to 20 points, which is not enough. And if you inverse off this one, you're also inversing two fair value gaps, which is ultra bearish, really, really bearish. But if we go even lower, we don't have anything stopping us until all the way down here. Now, why wouldn't I inverse or take a trade off this 15-minute inverse right over here? Well, mainly because, first of all, we hit most price targets to the downside. And second of all, we have a level of liquidity right here. So what we can do is if we sell off and take out this level of liquidity, you can get faked out and, it won't be so pretty. All right. And also, I'm pretty sure the market will be very, very oversold by the time we get down here. All right. So in my opinion, if I were to take one, it would have to be this option right over here. And I'm not going to lie to you, bro. Try to measure out this candle because, look, I know when I see one, this is not a fair value gap, right? I can tell you right now, this candle right here is maximum 30 points. Right, so make sure you measure it out just in case you don't, mess up the setup. Now, I could be wrong, right, but that doesn't really look like a fair value gap to me. All right, and I can double check for you. I'm assuming that's a 15-minute time frame. So you're looking at this fair value gap right over here, and oh no, I was wrong. Yeah, it's actually exactly 40 points. So yeah, I would take that one instead. Yeah, that does not look like a 40-point gap. Maybe you had it zoomed out, so it looks like that. But yeah, if you zoom in, yeah, it does look like a gap. Anyways, guys. The market currently, guys, we are pretty choppy right now. I'm not gonna lie. So we're still waiting on something. All right, but like I said, we have all day, so don't worry about it. Whether it's now, later, lunch hour, PM session, or Asia, we can get a setup anytime. All right, let me catch up with the chat. Anyways, someone said here, I had one issue with the NQ trade. I didn't take it because I was at work, bro. Okay, here. David, my daily loss limit. Is that DOL stands for daily loss limit, right? I think so, yeah. Is 1,250. I have made over $1,500 in profit now. If I take a new trade and lose 1250, would that be a soft breach or would I lose? No. So that $1,250 of drawdown is for the day. So if you lose that amount in the day, it will just lock you off from taking any more trades until the next day. All right. So yeah, it will just kind of lock you out. It's like a temporary lockout. So you don't overtrade, and it's how prop firms do it, bro. It's that's how they are. Yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Am I talking to myself? Talking to me? I'm talking to someone else. Would you do more trades in the Asia session? It depends, guys. You guys know I only do Asia if some sort of overnight news comes out and it looks good. If not, then I just wait for the next day. You guys always know this. You guys know this. All right. You guys remember when Trump was talking, New York was literally untradeable. We just traded Asia, right? Literally, all of the trades that we caught for that 1 week was all during Asia. All right. Let me see. But I have made $1,500 profit already for the day. Yeah. You should already call it a day, bro. Get off the charts, bro. But I don't know how what your profit was doing. I don't know if it's a trailing daily loss limit or just a regular daily loss limit. So if you go minus 1250, then you might get the lockout. David, oh yo, hold up. Speaking of, before I do that, yo, do you guys remember? His name was Enrique, bro. Let me make sure. Let me make sure he's doing good, man. Because guys, yesterday, bro, yesterday someone in the chat, bro, was saying that he has to get rushed to the hospital, bro. So I felt hella bad, man. Hella bad. Hopefully he's doing good, man. Let me check up with him before I give you guys before I keep talking, guys. Hold on. His name was Enrique. Yo, what's good, bro? All right, guys, I had him in the chat. But yeah, hopefully he's doing good, man. Hopefully he's in the stream. I see him online. But yeah, what's good, bro? You caught any trades today or no?
Bro, look at it now.
Dude, how are you not trading this market, bro? What are you talking about, bro?
No. My bad, bro.
No, I was kidding. Anyways, all right, let me catch up with the chat. All right, someone here said, David, my wife's 7 weeks pregnant. I'm gonna be a father. Yo, congrats, my man. Maybe he'll stop the trolling in the chat now, bro. Anyways. All right, Krabby's here. Entry is now officially never coming, bro. I'm here.
Yeah,
Yo, what's good, Enrique, bro? Bro, hopefully you're feeling good, man. Let us know, man. Let us know. Hopefully you're feeling blessed, bro. I'm locked the fuck in. Nah. Yo. Anyways, guys, we're still getting a little bit of selling, but dude, this selling is taking, like, we sell off, we go back up, we go back down, we sell off a little bit lower, we go back up, we go back down, sell off a little bit lower, we go back up. Oh man, this market is definitely something. But like I said, guys, once we are able to hold below this level right here, that's when we can start forming some good setups here. All right, guys. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. We're just looking for a nice break below or hold below. We already broke it. We're waiting for a hold below 23,135 or 32. Wait, Kirby, you still on vacation or you're finally back?
I'm on vacation.
All right. Dude, I look at want to take something. And that maybe not as long as a trip as you, bro. Because you've been gone for like, what, like 2 weeks now?
You're supposed to work on your trips.
Yo.
Oh, Davide.
Let me see. Dude, I might go to PR again, bro. PR was so fire. Look, I literally told you guys, look, we sell off, we make a new low, like barely, and we go right back up. Look, we sold off here, created a low, we sold off, we went back up, sold off, created a new low, went back up, sold off, created a new low, went back up, sold off, created a new low, went back up. Like, yo, what is the market, bro? At this point, bro, I'm just gonna short every pullback, bro. At this point, the KP strap, bro.
Yo.
No, that's literally what it is. PR was lit, dude. PR was amazing, bro. I know, bro, because I know you went to the same spot that I went to, bro. Dude, that thing was paradise on fucking. Shit was amazing. Waiting for trade. Needs to make 150 to pass 2 TPT accounts. Bro, 150 has light work. No, bro, just don't force any trades, bro. All right, don't get impatient. Remember, we have all day. We're waiting for a setup here. I'm hoping that you were able to catch a trade last night because, yo, Krabby, did you see what happened last night, bro?
No.
You didn't, bro. Out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere, at like the most random time, NQ just randomly decides to pump up 200 points. So I ended up getting a setup from that at like 10 at night.
Oh, Davide.
Descending chop. Yeah, bro. Yo, Krabby. Bro, did you see the trade that I got caught up on yesterday, bro?
No,
look at
bro.
this. Look at this.
You haven't been too active.
Look at my screen share. So look, I had the cleanest. Hold on. Dude, I had the cleanest, but I mean cleanest setup on ES. Right? And I'm like, guys, you know what I mean? Like, okay, we're going up like crazy. We still have room for higher. We're increasing the fair value gap, and we have a lot of buying pressure kicking in. This is a no-brainer setup. So let's take it. We took it, whatever. It started chopping up, and like, guys, you know what I mean? The market today has been a little bit slow, you know, whatever. So, you know, nothing crazy, right, dude? I get chopped out, right? And dude, before I get chopped out, as I was in the trade, I'm like, guys, there's literally zero reason for us to go down. The only reason why we would go down is if we chop or just get a little pullback, right? Nothing crazy because the volume is kind of mediocre, right? But the bias still remains bullish and the setup looks picture perfect. All right, so we take it, dude. Right, and look at my price target. Right, look at my price target right over here. Right, 6312. I was dude. I was telling everyone in the chat, I'm like, guys, this is a no-brainer setup. This setup is like light work, right? It's an
Yeah.
easy setup, dude. Look at this,
Oh, you got ticked out. Oh yeah.
dude.
Fuck.
I got off live, bro, and I promise you, I literally I was almost on like I was almost gonna tear up, bro. That's how annoyed this trade
Bro.
got me, bro. Look at this. Look at this, dude. And you know what the funny thing is, guys? Do you guys know? Remember in the chat when I was like, "Oh, guys, I honestly feel like moving my stop loss a little bit lower to the 30-minute fair value gap, which was literally like 2 points lower." And I'm like, nah, it's whatever, dude. You can't be serious, bro.
That's just unlucky.
Super unlucky, bro. Super unlucky. But honestly, bro, I ended up making most of it back. I caught NQ longs right after because I saw it going back up. And I'm like, you know what? NQ has the same setup. Let me just take it off that, bro. You know, it's whatever. If you work on your trip, it's a tax write off. Oh
My
yeah,
trip?
yeah. Yeah, no, in any trip. It could be a business trip. I mean, if you record content or whatever. Yo, speaking of, have you been using the camera or no?
Of course.
Yo. How long is the vlog gonna
David is
be?
all edited. It's all edited and done.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I was gonna post it.
Yo. When are you gonna post it? No.
I don't know.
So I said, David, what's PR? You can pay. Nah, bro. You lost me there, bro. Is it true that Powell is retiring? Yo, I'm not gonna lie. Yo, Krabby, was I with you on VC when we were watching Powell speak and he Loki got really old?
Yeah.
Yo, no, guys, look, when me and Krabby used to trade options, like maybe what two-ish years ago or so, yeah, 2 years ago. Yo, Powell looked pretty healthy, right? He was like a pretty healthy old man. If you guys look at Powell now, bro, dude, he's getting old, man. He's getting really old. So I wouldn't. He's due for a retirement, man. You know what I mean? And that job is really fucking stressful, especially when Trump is on your ass calling you a dumbass. You know what I mean? So yeah, dude, he's due for a retirement soon.
Yeah, but I swear July last year was like crazy.
Dude, I was telling everyone, like, I'm like, dude, if just because last year's July was crazy or slow or whatever, doesn't really mean much, bro. David, what was the other platform that you can use on Apex for Tradevate? You can do Rhythmic. They have three options: Rhythmic, Tradevate, or Wealth Charts. Also, what's the problem with Tradevate? Tradevate is literally the best one out of all three. Okay, David, what size do you recommend copy trading on 5 XFAs? I've traded on a single funded before, but this is my first time copy trading 5. It got me a low-key nervous since it's my first week on them. I know you requested a payout before. Just do the same thing. You know what I mean? Look, everyone. Okay, look, I'm assuming you're on 50Ks because that's what I typically suggest. But if you're gonna be doing 50Ks, do 7 micros. That's a pretty reasonable thing. Now, if you're on an XFA, I'm assuming you're on Top Step, and lucky for you, you don't have to do anything different on Top Step. All you do is you link up other accounts, you trade one just like normal, and the rest will just follow. Pretty simple. I got you with the actual chart here. Ninja Trader, isn't Ninja Trader and Rhythmic the same thing? Been trying for like a month to go live. They asked me for an ID with your address and bank statements. But if you're trading Apex, they shouldn't be asking you for an ID nor bank statements. You just buy an Apex account and they give you the login. That's pretty much about it. Yeah, I mean, I thought you knew that. Yeah, no, Apex, you just buy the account, they'll make you the account, and they're like, okay, here's the login, whatever. How can I see my login? You buy the account on Apex, you go to your dashboard on the main page, and at the bottom right, it will say Apex underscore a million numbers, and your password will be right under. Just copy and paste that on, you know what I mean? Yo, what are you saying, bro? David got no shorts on. What are you saying, bro? How do you know? No, I'm just kidding. Epic needs a place to send the 1099. No, but that's different. That's different because he's saying that Tradeovate isn't letting him open an account. But with Apex, once you pass your eval, they'll be like, oh yeah, we need your passport, social security, or some other stuff, just so we can obviously send you your tax documents right after, right? Which will be the 1099 NES, right? It's like what is it? 1099 non what is it? Non something NES. That's what it is. It's kind of like a private salary, pretty much. No, TopStep does W9s. Apex doesn't. Wait, do they? I think they do. They either do W9s or they ask for your social security, or maybe both. Yeah, no, I know TopStep. They every single payout that you guys will request, they always ask you to fill out a W9. So obviously you can write it off for your taxes, or don't. You know, no, I'm just
Yo.
kidding. Anyways, no. Yo, PBL, bro. Hold on, bro. Yo, guys, don't really send your Apex usernames. There's a reason why most, if not all, traders keep it so private because, you know, what I mean, it can get they people can get into it. So be careful. Be careful with your thing. All right, bro. Don't send your Apex username. All right, so guys, when you guys are sending like screenshots of your profits, and you know next to your profit how it says PA Apex, blah 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 blah, whatever, hide that part. All right, because people can see that account numbers and they can get access into it. Same thing with your Twitter, right? If people find out your email or Instagram email or whatever, and they contact support and they're like, "Yo, I forgot my password," a whole bunch of BS, blah 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 blah, exactly how Elm said, they can get into it. All right, so be careful. Same thing goes with Apex. All right, just so you guys have that top tier security. Don't send your Apex accounts. All right. Yo, no, I won't say it, bro.
All right. All right.
All right, guys. But guys, this market is getting pretty slow. I know it's not really getting slow. It's just the momentum is a little dead. Are we looking for shorts under? No. I mean, well, we're gonna be open to looking for shorts soon, but we don't have a setup around here, so we need to wait for a setup to be created. And whatever setup is created below 23,132, then we're open to a short setup. All right, but yeah, right now we're trying to hold below it. Let's see if we can do it. Yo. Someone here said, how does NQ and ES affect each other? Because they all hold pretty much the same companies. They hold Nvidia, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, AMD, Apple, all those things. So if one moves, the other one is more likely going to move together. Right? Yeah, they're like brothers and sisters, pretty much. Yeah. That's literally the best way to put it. Dumping? A little bit. Let's see if we can create a setup here. Oh, yeah, actually, yeah, no, we do have a setup. All right, guys, we could probably form something very, very soon here. As long as we hold down this gap over here, we could be looking pretty bearish. All right, guys, remember, like I said, we're looking for a rejection off this bearish rally gap right over here for a bias. Once we get that correct bias and we hold below the London low, once again, whatever setup we create below the London low, we can use for a short setup to then take it into 23.39 and 22.996. All right, that's what we're looking for. George feeding for a trade? Bro, let me find out, bro. Man, we are actually selling off quite a bit. So we got to wait about 2 minutes for this 5-minute candle to go ahead and close. And yeah, we are looking beautiful here. I'm not going to lie. We're breaking new lows and everything. So we're going to be looking for this candle to close. Let's see if we can actually close down the gap. Once we close it down, we'll create it. We wait for a retracement into the gap, followed with a 30-point rejection. We enter off that 30-point rejection, and we just look to target these price targets below. All right. Watch a wick. Yo, don't say that, bro. We don't say those words here, bro. All right. Anyways, when would I get funded? This is what platform is that? That's I've never seen this layout. Is it TPT, MFF? My fund the futures? Okay. Um, wait. So you just passed the account right now, right? Let me know. Yeah. Okay. So this goes with any prop firm, whether it's TopStep, Apex, MFF, TPT, Tradify, whatever it is. Guys, every single day, the second you pass your account, wait till 6 p.m. EST. That is when the new market opens up. All right, that's when Asia opens up again, and that's when it counts as a trading day. All right, so every single day, when the prop firm will stop tracking and seeing if you pass your funded account or not, will be at 6 p.m. EST. All right, so after 6 p.m. EST, it could be a little bit after, it could be exactly at 6 p.m. or whatever. You're gonna get an email saying, "Hey, congratulations! Here's how you activate the account, whatever." Yeah, usually wait about a day, and not even a day. Maybe wait a few hours, and you'll be good. All right, but yeah, it won't be instant. It won't be instant. You're good, bro. You're good. But also, congrats on you on passing your account, bro. What's the setup again? All right. Okay. Dude, I've repeated it, bro. Jay, you gotta lock in, bro. I repeated this like 15 times already today, bro. Hold on, let me take a deep breath here. Hold up. All right. Whew. Let's see what we got here. All right. So I'm gonna summarize it, bro, because I'm not gonna explain this whole thing a million times. All right. Once again, we swept all-time highs. We took out all-time highs. We swept it. We're selling off. We hit the objective. When we hit the objective, we swept it. We had to pull back into this bearish rally gap. We got a rejection, giving us a bearish bias. And now we're holding below the London low, giving us a more bearish bias. And if we hold below a level of liquidity with a lot of selling pressure, then we're more than likely going to go to the next level of liquidity, which is going to be all the way down here. Boom. These are going to be our two price targets. So what are we looking for? We're looking for a fair value gap to form right here, which it just did. But we got to wait for the 5-minute gap to go ahead and close. So it will look somewhat like this. And all we're looking to do now is a retracement into this gap, followed with a 30-point rejection. Once we get that 30-point rejection, we're gonna go ahead and enter and look to target these two price targets. All right, that's as fast as I can say it, bro. Because I feel like I've repeated the setup 1,000,001 times, man. Can you repeat it one more time? My AirPods, nah, bro. Yo, you're just rage baiting at this point, bro. Watch ES. Yeah, no, this thing is low key selling off a lot, bro. The one time that we don't take ES, bro, is just. Anyways, I'm still pretty locked in on NQ. As long as we can hold below 23,132, I'll remain bearish. But this candle needs to close in the next 4 minutes. All right, then we look for a retracement, followed with a rejection. Boom, 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 and that's it. All right, guys. Yo, come on now, bro. Thanks, I got you. Hopefully that made sense because I said it really fast. It's just the whole point is I've said the setup 1,000,001 times, and I'm actually exhausted from repeating it over and over and over. It's just I explain it, I change the topic for 5 minutes, and then someone else says, "Yo, what are we looking for?" It's like, yo, you know. For example, Yo Blast, I just came back. Do we have a setup? You see what I mean? If ES sweeps the Asia low, would that invalidate the trade? Not really, because actually, yeah, it could actually. It depends. Let's see how. Obviously, by the time we create the setup and everything, I'm sure we're gonna take out this low either way. So what we could do here is we can see how we react off this Asia low, whether we hold above or below it, and it'll kind of tell us a story. And we just go off that. Because remember, we still have to retrace into this 5-minute gap as well up here. So we're probably gonna get the same retracement. Now, I'm surprised that NQ doesn't have an Asia low anywhere. It's all the way down here. So yeah, we'll see. As long as the selling pressure looks really, really good. Yeah, I just yawned like crazy. If the selling pressure looks really good, then yeah, we could take it. Anyways, wait, in the meantime, I can't really trade because I'm gonna hit the max daily thing. So I'm just gonna do commentary. So let me kind of get this going. All right, guys, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 sec, guys. I'm gonna lock in real quick. Yo, imagine my Discord starts crashing, bro. Yo, knock on wood, bro. Knock on wood. All right, hold up. Let me lock in real quick. Okay, so looking at it right now. Yo, we're selling off like crazy, bro. Okay, coming to market open, NQ took out all-time highs to the upside, meaning that the upside potential is very, very limited, giving me no choice but to be bearish. All right, with my bias saying bearish. To see if NQ can hold below the London low DOL at 23,132.50. as long as it holds below this level. Yo, did you just fart, bro? You guys heard that, right?
Me?
Yeah, you.
No.
All right. Anyways, I'll stay as bearish as possible. Five-minute time frame. NQ retraced into the bearish FEG and rejected.
Can we retrace or
Giving us a +1 on our confirmation to start off even more into the setup.
bro?
What?
Who is that?
Dude, I look away for 2 seconds, bro. Hold up. I'm gonna lock him right now. Hold on. Cause I'm trying to get now for the setup, I'm mainly looking to see. Yo, we're retracing so quick, bro. I gotta type this quick. Now for the setup, I'm mainly looking to see if price can retrace into this new 5-minute bearish FEG that was created below the London low. I'm looking for a retracement followed with a 30 to 35 point rejection to then look to take shorts and target. Yo, I'm writing a fucking essay, bro. I never wrote this much in school. And target 23 39.75. No way we pull back and go back down, bro. And we want to see 23 or 22 996. Yeah, 996. All right, let me get the setup. So once again, we have the all-time high, we have a sweep, we have a bearish MSS. So it would look somewhat like this. Hold on, let me type this up, guys. I gotta get this going. Give me 1 second. So we have the MSS right here. Then we have the selling pressure kicking in. We're looking for a retracement into this, to the fair value gap, followed with a boom, 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 just like that. All right, this is what we want to see, guys. This is the current setup. All right, so let me go ahead and post it. Setups to watch. There we go. And post it over in this channel over here as well. Yo, we're getting a crazy retracement, guys. Remember, guys, we're gonna wait for a 30-point sell-off as well because, dude, this buying pressure is coming in really strong. And remember, guys, I'm gonna be doing commentary today just because I'm already green on the day. And I don't really want to make any more. I'm not trying to get greedy with the profits, so I'm gonna call it a day for myself. But I'm still gonna commentate behind the setup just in case you guys want to take it. But yeah, let's see if we can get a retracement here to the downside, or a retracement to the fair value over here. Let me kind of edit this level real quick. Yo, why is the magnet always off? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and place it just like this. Well. Yo, Curry, do you ever have those stretches where like you start shaking, bro?
Yeah.
Dude, those are the best, bro.
Fuck. Oh, David.
All right, guys, let's see if the setup can go ahead and hold up. We're about to get a retracement here, so lock in. For the people that are going to trade it, if you guys got a trade yesterday, maybe stay away and just run off for your profits. But if you guys do want to trade today, this is the one setup that I am absolutely loving for today. Although I can't really take it for myself because I'm already good on the day, I still do like it for myself or for you guys. So once again, we're looking for a retracement into the gap followed with about a 30-point rejection to then go ahead and enter and target these 2 levels of liquidity below. Now, can I get a little bit worried here? Maybe a little bit because ES did take out the Asia low drawn liquidity when NQ hasn't taken that out. So I can get a little bit hectic, you know, maybe for a little bit, maybe for some time. But remember, guys, oh, wait, we just retraced. So let me lock in real quick. All right. So let's say, for example, we retrace into the gap and we reject off this complete top over here. All right. So that means that we're going to be waiting for a 30-point stop loss, which means that our entry should be at the candle break pretty much right over here at 96. All right. 23.96. That wouldn't be so bad. All right. That's if we reject off only this level up here. Now, if we go a little bit higher and we retrace a little bit more, then yeah, we can definitely get adjust our stop loss and our entry. But for now, if we can manage to get a green to red candle flip, an entry off this would not be bad at all. Honestly, that's what I would say. And we can look to target all of these lows, which would be actually exactly 100 points as a price target. And I really like that actually. So let's see if we can get it. Now, the entry will be based for you guys. If you guys want to enter and take the trade and risk it for yourself, right now at least will be based off 23,096.25. Now, once again, if we manage to retrace a little bit higher, because obviously sellers are trying to step in, but buyers are kind of still in control a little bit with this one candle. So what I want to see right now, guys, is do we reject off this, or do we go a little bit higher to adjust the stop loss? All right. If this candle can flip from green to red here, then we'll just base it off this entry right here that I have on this chart. All right, guys. Dude, I am out of breath, man. Guys, I'm gonna go get water real quick because I need it. I'll be back. You guys lock in. You guys pay attention to this just in case we get a green to red flip. Let me know. All right.
Bro's out of breath. Krabby, what number is this? I can't see it. Nah, ES is still weak, so we'll see if we drive lower. Krabby, why do you only use trading bots? What's that?
All right, I'm back. Oof. I'm back. All right. Yeah, we haven't really done much yet. It kind of seems like we're about to get the selling pressure though. Because this buying count is kind of dying down a little bit. Now, like I said, if we retrace back, it doesn't really matter. As long as we stay inside of this gap, we should be good. And ES, on the other hand, we could be a little bit. I don't know if we should be worried about ES a little bit because obviously, remember, ES did take out the Asia low. So if it wants to sweep an inverses for value gap, it definitely could. But NQ, on the other hand, it wants lower. We know that. All right. Now, it's the same situation as yesterday, guys, where we need to wait to see if both can align with each other. So right now, we need to see if we can get a fair value gap projection off this. And if we can get on ES, if we can get a fair value gap projection off ES, and we can hold below the Asia low draw on liquidity, that'll be pretty much perfect. All right. So right now we are kind of holding above it. So let's kind of adjust our stop loss just like this. So yeah, same entry, pretty much 30-point stop loss, whatever. Now we just need to see if we're able to hold down this gap and if we're actually able to reject from it. Once we reject from it and get a 30 to 35-point rejection, whether you guys want to have a normal stop loss or a wider stop loss, you guys base it off your entry here. So you would do 30 to 35 points. All right, guys. Wait. Let's see, it would be based off this right here. And then the entry would be kind of based off 30 points right there. There you go. Dude, I need to take some deep breaths, bro. All right, let's see if we can get a rejection here. Remember, guys, what we want to see is not only for NQ to really reject here. I mean, yeah, but we also need ES to reject and really hold below the Asia low, just so we have that reassurance that, like, hey, I mean, although ES took out the Asia low when NQ hasn't, which is what we're targeting, ES still wants to go a little bit lower, which will give NQ that nice breathing room to really go down without ES being on its ass and be like, yo, you need to reverse right now. You know what I mean? So we gotta see. We're gonna see. But so far, we're kind of still holding up this gap. And I will say, guys, if this gap doesn't end up holding to a downside and if we don't reject off of it, I might just come back during the PM session because that's gonna be the only set that we have to work with right now, guys. So let's see. But right now we got the midpoint the midpoint retracement here. So let's see if we can get a rejection here. Right, we're still waiting on it. But if we don't get a rejection and we end up inversing this fair value gap, then I'll just come back later because that just means that we're not gonna get a setup anytime soon. All right. But let's remember, we're still waiting for a 30-point rejection, so we're still waiting, or we're still looking to adjust our entry and stop loss. All right, we're adjusting it to the complete top. All right, but let's kind of hope that we don't get a inverse here because I really want to trade it into shorts. All right, but right now we're at the complete top, so we need to reject off this right now. If you go up any higher, then the setup is cooked. All right, and obviously we won't be able to take it. So we need to reject literally right now. No more of a tick above. All right, so if we can get a candle flip here, then we'll be good. All right, because we just tapped into the top of the fair value gap. All right, and so did ES. So guys, we need to reject right now. If not, then the setup just won't be good enough to take. All right, guys. And I would say this is kind of the only setup that we have to the downside, because let's say, for example, we sell off below low of day, 40 more points. Our price target is going to be 15 points. So we need a setup here. If not, then the shorts are kind of cooked. All right, but let's kind of hope and pray to see if we can actually, maybe we have something on the 15-minute. No, the 5-minute is our literal only hope here for a short setup. So we're still waiting on it. We're still trying to see if we can get a nice rejection here. But yeah, looks like the gap was filled. No, the gap was filled, but we're not really holding above it nor closed above it. So it's still valid. As long as we reject literally right now, we should be good. All right, so if this candle right here could sell off to the downside below 109, an entry off that wouldn't be so horrible. All right, but if we go a little bit above this gap, if we break above this high right here, guys, above, what would it be? If we break above 139.25, we're going to have to come back later. All right, guys, no ifs, no buts, because obviously we're not going to have a setup to work with. All right, so let's get those magnets out, guys, and really put it on the chart so the chart goes down. You know what I mean?
Bro.
Bro. Then no, ES on the other hand, it's also holding this fair value gap to the complete top. So we just need to reject this, bro. We need to hold this candle down, guys. So let's hope and pray. All right, guys, let's hope and pray. Because like I said, if we don't get a setup here, guys, or if this setup doesn't hold up and we create a setup down here, it could be an issue because our price target will be so low by the time we create the gap and all that stuff, guys. I'm not trying to do that. You know what I mean? Thoughts and prayers, ass setup. Yeah, bro. Let's see if we can afford a rejection here. Like I said, guys, if we don't get a rejection, I'm just going to get off and just run off with the profits that we made last night and maybe just come back later, or maybe you come back tomorrow because, guys, tomorrow is PPI. Keep that in mind. All right, so remember, tomorrow will be on maybe at 9:30 as well, like instantly as the market opens. Thursday will be on as well. Friday, we will not be trading. It is OPEX. I do not trade OPEX no matter what. I hate it. All right, guys. So yeah, Friday will be a cash day for me completely. I will not be trading Friday. All right, but guys, from the looks of it, we are breaking the highs. So yeah, the setup is cooked. Now, we can always create a new setup going lower, but this was the setup that we needed. But unfortunately, it didn't hold up, so no entries taken at all. On to the next setup. All right, guys. But in the meantime, we are back to holding above the London low DOL, which means that our bias is kind of neutral in a way. So no setup from us yet, but why not for IFEG long? Because we don't have our confirmations, bro. We don't have anything. All right. But yeah, in the meantime, guys, I'm gonna probably avoid this AM session. Just it does look good. It looks all right. And I love the volume. It's just we don't have too many subs to work with as of right now. All right, we had one here which was perfect, but it didn't really hold up all that much. All right, and now, wait, hold up. Before you guys get off, because ES is still inside of this gap here. So surprisingly, or not even surprisingly, ES is the weak one, which is kind of why. But we did take out this Asia low, so either way, I wouldn't even look to take shorts on ES. I want to take shorts on NQ either way. So I'm not even going to bother with ES. All right? But yeah, would you guys be down to come back later if a setup forms, if not tomorrow? Or do you guys want to wait? Because I don't think we're going to create a new setup anytime soon. I mean, this was our one and only chance in taking shorts, and it didn't really hold up. ES would have been the play here? Nah, because it would have been the riskiest one. I mean, look at this. You're gonna take you mean to tell me that you're gonna take a FEG rejection off of a bearish value gap after we took out the objective? Doesn't make too much sense. On NQ on the other hand, we haven't taken out the objectives, right? Which is these two down here, right? It just didn't hold because obviously ES is the weaker one. All right, force to trade right now. I got you guys. What do you mean no confirmations? We swept the London low, NQ and ES took out all levels of liquidity. I mean, you're pretty much right. It's just, I'm not saying there's no confirmations. I'm just kind of married to the bias. I want to see lower. You guys know I don't like trading into all-time highs. It is my least favorite thing to do. Now, if you guys do want to take an inverse off this fair value gap, by all means, you definitely could to target these two levels up here. It's just, in my opinion, it's just, I'm kind of married to the bias, and I want to see lower into 2339 and 22996. And this was the one setup that we had. But I do get what you guys are saying. Now, the more times that we play, the more times that we dance around this London low, the weaker or the less respect it's gonna get. But right now, as we are holding above it, an inverse off this wouldn't be horrible. It's just me personally, I want to be bearish for the day. I'm choosing to be bearish. But yeah. And also, yeah, ES did take out the level of liquidity, but ES is really weak here. I just want to take shorts on ES because obviously we hit the objective already. So what are you going to target? All right. What time do you come on for the UK times? I don't know what time I get on, bro. It's whenever a setup forms or whenever a setup comes around, I just get on whenever. You know what I mean? So if I get off right now and a setup forms in 10 minutes from now, I'll get back on. You know what I mean? But yeah, in the meantime, guys, the market is kind of a little iffy because even if you did take this inverse, I mean, you're gonna be a little bit of drawdown right now. So I was really hoping that we were able to get more of a selling candle here, but I guess that's not the case. All right, it was just a fake out, dude. Imagine if we go right back down, bro. Dude, that'll suck so much, bro. Because we're not gonna have a setup anymore. You know what I mean? It would have been rejection off this, then 30-point sell off. All right, but we inversed it and we're now faking it out back to red. So I'm like I said, I still want to see lower. It's just I'm not gonna take anything off this setup. It's not something that I suggest at all. All right, guys. Yeah, I do agree that NQ is gonna dump. I'm expecting it because I mean we do have room for lower and the selling aggression is definitely there. Or sellers are there. You know what I mean? They're definitely there. So I would say, guys, we take a breather off the chart. It's already 11:15. We've had some setups, just none of them really got, it didn't do what we wanted to see. So what I'm gonna do, guys, is I'm gonna stay on the chart for a little bit longer. Not on live, but I'm gonna take a breather off the chart. Get a quick workout in, and when I get back, I'll see what the charts have for us to kind of take to the downside, and if I see something else, I'll kind of just alert it for you guys. Bro's gonna goon, bro. but yeah. In the meantime, guys, I'm gonna get off the charts for a little bit, and if I see something during the PM session, like I said, I'm not really gonna. I'm not in a rush to get a setup because I'm already green, and I'm sure a good handful of you guys are green from last night's trade as well. But if I do see something form later today during the PM session, I will be on and I will be posting it. So like I always say, guys, please keep your notifications on and please stay around Discord. Maybe not on Discord, but stay around this so you guys know if we see something, you guys are on it. All right, this is like being around the clock. All right, alert us in plenty of time though. I always do, bro. I always do. All right, name me a time that I haven't. All right, but yeah, guys, could you alert 10 minutes before? That's not even possible, bro. But anyways, guys, I will see you guys later then, if a setup forms, of course. All right. Can you let us know a bit before you take the trade? Like I said, bro, I always do. I don't know why you guys are asking that when you guys know that I do it. All right. I always tell you guys here in the setups to watch. Literally before the setup plays out or as the setup is forming, I'm like, guys, here's what we're watching. Here's why we're watching it. Here's why you're gonna play it, and here's where you're gonna target. All right. If you fail to read this, is that my problem? No. All right. That's your problem. All right. But yeah, I always post all of my setups here all the time, guys. All right. So if I see something, obviously I'll post it here. If you fail to read it, that's your fault. All right, guys. But anyways, I mean, dude, how else am I supposed to say it, bro? You know what I mean? Because people always blame me. But I put out a setup and they're like, yo, I couldn't catch it. Now, what do you want me to do, bro? Anyways, all right, guys. I'll see you guys later today if we get a setup. All right, guys. That's an if we get a setup. All right, guys. Let us know the day before next time. All right, bro. I got you, bro. Anyways, all right, guys. I'll see you guys later today then. Peace out, Krabby. Peace out, chat. And I'll see you guys later.
Peace out, chat.
All right. Peace out, guys. Peace out. Peace out. And YouTube, guys, hopefully you guys were able to enjoy the stream. Unfortunately, we got some setups today. We got a little bit of a read. Hopefully you guys were able to learn something new. And I know a lot of you guys on YouTube are coming from RP server. Now, if you guys are coming from RP server, you guys know that last night we caught a beautiful 70-point trade. Or we caught two trades. We got a 35-point trade and a 70-point trade. So if you guys are green, honestly, just run off with the profits and go call it a day. But if not, don't worry. If you guys join the free Discord over in the link in the description, or if you guys join the premium, you guys can get access to the PM session that I'm going to be live in to go ahead and put out setups and obviously give you guys alerts. All right, guys. But for today, we are currently up 600 or 5. I'm going to round up 600. We're currently up $600, which on 10 accounts, which is what I trade, is about $6,000 on every account, right? Like in total. All right, guys. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with today. Hence my energy being so active. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna try to get another setup later today. And if you guys want to get access to that setup, guys, click the first link in the description. Use code FLASH for 70% off any premium upgrade. That's FLASH. And yeah, that's for 70% off. All right, guys. But other than that, guys, I had a lot of fun in the stream today. Although we didn't really get a setup on stream, we are still super green on the day. And And yeah, if anything, guys, I'll see you maybe later or tomorrow. All right, guys. So yeah, I'll see you guys then. All right, guys. Peace out. Take it easy.